Hello, I'm United States Senator Saxby Chambliss. I am in the midst of doing a tour around our state and visiting with our communities that house our military installations in Georgia. The purpose of these meetings is to inform the community of what's about to take place in Washington if nothing is done. As a result of the raising the debt ceiling vote last August, and the failure of the super committee that was created in that debt ceiling issue, there will be an additional $1.2 trillion in spending cuts that will come into place on January 1, 2013. That in and of itself is not a bad idea. But the problem with this issue of what we call sequestration is this. Under the statute that was passed last August, 50% of that $1.2 trillion automatically comes out of the Department of Defense. So this almost $600 billion will be on top of $475 billion over the next 10 years that was authorized for reduction in spending at the Pentagon by the debt ceiling vote last year. The $475 billion is tough, but it's necessary. Our country is in serious trouble when it comes to our fiscal house today. So it is necessary that the Pentagon pay its fair share to try to make sure that we reduce spending in order to try to be able to address this issue of the now almost $16 trillion that our country owes. But to add another almost $600 billion out of the Department of Defense on top of that $475 billion is unsustainable, it's not fair, and it's not appropriate. The reason that is the case is that this will be an arbitrary reduction in spending that will see us further reduce the size of our military. We will further reduce the number of ships that we have in our United States Navy, which today is at the lowest level that we've seen in decades and decades. We will see a continued decline in the procurement of aircraft, both tactical as well as C-130s and other air mobility assets. We're going to see a continuing downsize of our force structure, and all of our military contractors that operate at our installations around the state are going to likewise see a downsizing of their employees because of the fact that they're not going to have the contracts that they have today. So what I want to make sure of is that our military communities understand what the impact of this sequestration implementation could be to their community. Do we have options? You bet we do. The Gang of Six has been working on this issue now for 2 years, and it just so happens that every issue that is involved in this fiscal cliff that we're headed off of is addressed by the Gang of Six proposal. It may not be the best idea, but it is one idea that's on the table. There are other ideas that will kick the can down the road for 3 months, 6 months, or 12 months. I think the best way to solve this is to permanently resolve our debt and deficit situation by making sure that we address this $15 trillion, almost $16 trillion that we now owe, and also moving ourselves and our country towards balancing our budget. So I hope that as we move forward over the next several weeks and months, that we can hear from you and that we can get your input as to what direction you think we should go in with respect to this issue of sequestration. Thanks for listening in. God bless you, and may God bless America.